So where did
I didn't get in all the videos I wanted to yesterday, so I'm doing a part 2.
all of this begin? Well, you were never voted in because of the failures before. The job landed right at your door. But all you've done ever since then is cock it all up time and time again. Now the whole country's on its knees. Woo! So Starmer, we're all begging, please. We all think it's time that you know that we all really want you to go. We're all sick of your shit and your lies. It's you that we all really despise. Britain's a place no longer safe to live, thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later. Now every day more boats arrive, escaping to here just to survive. Men running scared for their lives. Seems they forgot the kids and wives. No background checks of who they are. Then straight to a hotel, must be 5-star. Benefits, vouchers handed on a plate. Open borders, Britain no longer great. We all think it's time that you know that we all really want you to go. We're all sick of your shit and your lies. It's you that we all really despise. Britain's a place no longer safe to live, thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later. Now one more time. If you hate Starmer, then let me hear you sing. We all think it's time that you know.
Hey, John.
That we all...
I'm doing part 2 because there was so many videos about this. I'm doing part 2 to what I was doing yesterday.
I really want you to go. We're all sick of your shit and your lies. It's you that we all really despise. Britain's a place no longer safe to live, thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later. And don't ever come back. Woo! Woo! And don't ever come back.
Oh, I think I'll end with that one too, actually, so everyone sees it. It's definitely a good one. All right, I'm going to do part 2 on this. You know, it's a pretty serious topic, actually.
A 219-page report was released yesterday in the United Kingdom by a member of Parliament, laying out in detail the evil, just the pure evil of predominantly Muslim men from Pakistan, grooming, trafficking, torturing, and raping at least 250,000 white women in the United Kingdom over the course of several years.
Huge bombshell news today. The Rape Gang Inquiry report has just been published in full. It lays bare the astonishing scale of the rape, abuse and torture of potentially hundreds of thousands of young white girls at the evil hands of predominantly Pakistani Muslim men and men from other Muslim countries.
And nobody here is talking about it. That report was from this morning in what could be the biggest scandal involving sexual abuse and rape in history. Muslim men raping young white British women for decades, facilitated, ignored, and covered up by politicians, by police, by caregivers, even the prime minister who was in France tonight, for one reason. These people do not want to be perceived as racist, which is utterly insane. And because of that, this was able to go on, fester, and thrive for decades while polite society in Britain looked the other way. According to the report, 87% of the perpetrators were Muslims from Pakistan. 87%. But the left still want you to think that diversity is our strength. It is not. And maybe you've heard that before.
The report claims Labour-dominated councils and MPs were briefed on the gangs long ago, yet later denied any knowledge. It says the party prioritised electoral reliance on Muslim voting blocks and then blocked or watered down inquiries, suppressed ethnicity data, and framed legitimate concerns as far-right agitation.
Isn't that interesting? So leftist politicians in the United Kingdom ignored reports and then blamed it on the far right instead. Now, where have I heard about that before? That's right here in the United States, in Minnesota, with that man right there, Tim Walz, the governor. He blamed right-wing conspiracy theorists, the president, and YouTubers for what's turned out to be a multi-billion-dollar fraud fiasco in Minneapolis.
Information.
About getting rich. That's what it is. It's about getting rich.
Residents in New York say they're alarmed after seeing Muslim community patrols driving through their neighborhoods in what look like police squad cars. One America's Pearson Sharp has the details.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American-Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States. Similar groups can already be seen in other major European cities in Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, and Britain. These patrols have been going on for years, and a CNN report caught Muslims from a patrol in London harassing residents. In Whitechapel, one man can be heard insulting a gay man, calling him offensive names and telling him he wasn't welcome in a Muslim area. Others denounce residents for drinking, claiming this is a Muslim area and alcohol is not permitted. They also harassed a woman as she was crossing the street, warning her that her short skirt was not allowed in Muslim areas.
Too bad. I don't know. It's serious. It's serious.
Trump is very clear about Keir Starmer, about David Lammy, and about what's going on in Europe. Him and Elon are determined to bring back Western Europe as Christian countries that have free people in them. Also looking to the UK and knowing that we're still being pushed down that, whereas America is being freed. And what that does is it makes the UK look ridiculous. Trump just ripped up the Paris Accord. He just walked away from the World Health Organization. He stepped away from the World Economic Forum.
All about extracting money from us.
Drill, baby, drill. It makes our lot look so ridiculous. And Trump and his people will continue to highlight the idiocy over here and to try to make Europe great again as well.
Amen on that.
Go on then. Go on, report me. I'm English. Try and deport me! Deport the fucking lot. Deportation across the nation, the only path to our salvation. This is our country, not a vacation. Our laws ignored without hesitation. They're not surprised when there's confrontation. The people are demanding regulation, yet the voice is rising in every station. They're calling loud for restoration. Deport the fucking lot. If they're men, send them back. We haven't got room, we can't keep track. Their papers missing, the bags half packed. And that's just facts on facts on facts. Numbers are rising, the system's cracked. Pressure's building, the public reacts. Headlines rolling, stacks on stacks. The country's awake now, so don't unpack. Deport the fucking lot.
Yep, there's part 2 to that.
Deport the fucking lot. Deport the fucking lot. If they're men, send them back. We haven't got room, we can't keep track. Deport the fucking lot.
Yeah, they're part of it.
Keep them off our shores, send them back to fight their wars.
I'm not doing a lot of Britain lately, but there's a lot going on there right now, you know. That's why I say that. Here's the British guards. Watch this. They're trying to talk to them.
Traitors.
British cops.
Mate, call us mate. We don't want you as mate. You are traitors. Right? Yes, yeah, you got it. You want to see us be? So let me hear it from the main man. You as a man on the other side of that fence, what do you suggest we do as fathers, as workers, as fucking slaves to this country? We go to work and pay our fucking taxes to be told to shut the fuck up, and yet our women get raped. What do we do? What do we do?
Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new. And hit the bell notification to all.
Nothing, mate. You're talking to all of us. We're all here together. You talk to one of us, you're talking to all of us. You've got to choose a side. Listen. You choose a side. It's one day you're asking. So what do we do? What? Choose a side. Hold on. One day. Let's just put it this way. So what do you want to happen? Do you want us to get to a stage where we've got 100, 200,000?
Yeah, it seems like Twitch isn't working again today, huh? I'm going to have to mess with it.
Because we don't want that. I don't want that. We know we've got legal ground to stand on. And you're not sitting there giving them a We've got legal ground to stand on. And I'm scared that when my fucking missus walks out our door to take them to school tomorrow, she gets stabbed in the fucking neck while I'm at work. The hate regulations. So what do we do about it? Levy on man! What do we do about it? What do you want us to wait here and watch our fucking women get raped and fucking trafficked? Levy on man! Levy on man! Why is no one speaking of Levy on man? Why is no one fucking putting this out in mainstream media? Why is there a complete media blackout on it?
Yeah, I'd like to take that bar thing away, but every time I move the mouse to another page, the whole thing goes back to my home screen. I don't know why. It's a bug in Rumble Beta.
Rest in peace, Henry Novak. Return to heaven. You absolute traitor. Listen, the British public now know, yeah? We maybe put ourselves in this position because we stopped voting for the government, because we didn't fucking trust none of them. But now, we've got an answer. Now, when Rupert Lowe gets in, which he will, I hope and pray that every single person will be involved in the invasion. I hope every single person involved in the cover-up of women and children being raped. I hope these people are held for treason, and I hope we bring back the death sentence and we try whoever.
Can't get the right emojis for this.
Everyone of them. Look what public. They are murderers. They are terrorists. They're not grooming gangs. They're raping torture gangs. You won't be laughing when you go. It's terrorism against our fucking women and children. Against the British collaboration. Prison. Can you not go to prison? You won't be laughing then. I don't think so, mate. I don't think so, mate. When you go to prison, I don't think so.
Be like in UK, huh? Has he been to the UK? I'm not sure I'm totally understanding yet. We'll see what that means.
I claim responsibility for this attack. Death to all infidels, to all Americans.
She's being sarcastic here.
Everyone who is against Prophet Muhammad.
She's playing both parts.
Everyone who goes against Allah. Wait. No, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? This is not a terror attack. This has nothing to do with religion. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Listen to me. No. I just told you I'm a jihadist Muslim. I deserve to live. Infidels don't. I do this for Allah and the glory of our Prophet. This is who I am. No, you're not. You're just a victim of poverty. That's really what it is. No. I am good. I live in good conditions. No poverty here. I'm a jihadist. I told you. Oh, okay. So you're not poor. Then maybe you're uneducated. You didn't have access to it. Oh, no.
White man's
I'm very
fault.
educated.
White
I am
Christian's
engineer.
fault.
I work very hard. I just read the Quran. And I know infidels do not deserve to live.
He's a police officer.
Well, maybe you don't understand Islam very well.
Well, it depends. Some
terrorism is.
sometimes it depends on which the police department you work for, you know. Like if you got some mayor that's a real leftist or something, then it's tough.
The result of imperialism. Oh, no. I have nothing against imperialism. It's part of my culture. Islam loves imperialism. I'm just a terrorist. I'm a jihadist. I'm telling you. No way. You just don't understand yourself. You are a victim. You're a victim of so many things that it's so hard for you to understand. Come here. Come here. I want to give you a hug. And I want to give you a place to live. And I want to respect you and your roots. And really, I want you to know I love you.
She's playing that part pretty good.
Still think that it's a religion of peace? This is what they don't want you reading. Let's start with Surah 929. It literally says fight non-believers until they pay a submission tax. Sounds more like a religious mob than faith. Hadith 5133, grown man marrying 6-year-old, consummated at 9. But sure, let's pretend like that's normal because it was a different time. Oh, and if your wife talks back, Surah 434 says that you can hit her. That's not discipline, that's divine domestic violence. But if you question it or criticize it, they believe that you deserve punishment or worse. But somehow you're the hateful one saying it out loud. It's not Islamophobia. It's called reading. And don't forget, it's not about belief, it's about control. That's why whenever Islam spreads, so does Sharia law. They do not come to blend, they come to reshape. They're not assimilating, they're outbreeding. Now Europe has no-go zones, grenade attacks, not to mention the grooming gangs. France, Sweden, Germany are all learning right now. Just the hard way. This is not Islamophobia because you're not afraid without reason. They call it peaceful, but everywhere it spreads, peace leaves. This is what Surah 839 says. And fight them until there is no fitna, which means disbelief, and religion is all for Allah. This isn't fear, it's facts.
I hope it hasn't made him a Dem, you know. I doubt it, but I hope not.
Why are you praying in the street?
So what is the reason I cannot pray at Brandenburger Gate? You are just coming to me and asking, are you Muslim? No, I'm a Christian. And then you are saying you cannot pray here.
Yeah, but I see you.
He can pray there if he's Muslim, but he can't pray there if he's Christian. That's the thing. This is in Berlin. He can pray there if he's Muslim, but he cannot pray there if he's Christian.
It's not a place for the praying. It's
not. We are disturbing no one. We are not talking to people. We are just reading the word of God.
Please, can you cancel our?
No,
video?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
You must do it, please.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that, but I cannot delete it.
You have such nice areas here in Berlin.
Yeah, I know, but
why are you coming to this? It's not a religious building here. It's
not a religious building.
No,
yes.
It's not a religious building. It's not a church. It's not a synagogue or something.
Yeah.
Why are you praying in the street?
For me,
I'm a Catholic. I go to church. I make it at home. I make it at the park.
That's no problem.
But not at the most famous sightseeing in the street.
The reason why we are praying on this place is that we
make attention. To make them.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
you are holding your Bible.
We are holding the Bible, and this is not possible. You know, you are Pharisees, sir.
Stop the video, please.
No, I'm not stopping the video. Praying with myself.
You are going here with your Bible, holding it in front of you. Yeah.
I'm just reading the Bible.
No, you are not reading 20 minutes.
Oh my days.
20 minutes. You go.
Oh my days.
From one point to another. Holding your Bible in front of you.
Yeah, I'm reading the Bible while I'm praying. Is there freedom of religion?
In this area?
Yeah. Is there freedom of religion?
Yes.
Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, right?
Yes.
Article 1.
Yeah.
So what are you saying right now? I'm not able to hold the Bible while I'm walking around in Berlin. I'm not demonstrating because I'm not. I know what a demonstration is. A demonstration is where you come with your opinion and you are going to talk with people about the opinion. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And I rebuke the demon in you in the name of Jesus.
A quiet demonstration. You are holding only a sign.
I'm not holding a sign. I'm holding the word of God, sir.
The religious sign.
I rebuke the demon inside of you. In Jesus' name. Look how many police because we are literally praying. It's crazy.
It does have a few bugs. I don't know. Was she using Rumble? I'm just wondering, you know. All right, here's more like about the freedom of speech. Watch this one. They're arresting him. This is London.
Turns out we have time to arrest real criminals now that we're not arresting people for tweets.
We'll actually keep the heating on this winter.
Oh, it's a little bit different
back, didn't we?
The farm stays in the family now. No death tax, so the kids can take it after I'm gone.
I'm not afraid to walk to school anymore now that those groups of men aren't hanging around.
Spent years fixing the damage they did to these walls. This should be the last one I'll ever have to fix.
Yeah, definitely. Walking around London feels safe again. I've got my favourite watch on. I can hold a phone in my hand in public. I can't believe the problems we used to have.
This is done by AI. Restore Britain. It's an ad for Restore Britain.
The BBC have been caught red-handed. Do you remember when they planted illegal migrants in the audience of Question Time to ambush me and ask me whether a Reform government would deport them?
The Reform policies deport all illegal immigrants in the UK within 5 years. So that would be, I mean, these are real people. That would be someone like you.
If you're in this country illegally, you will be deported back to the country from which you came.
Well, it turns out not only were those illegal migrants planted in the audience, they were literally coached on what to say by an open borders charity. This is according to the Telegraph in astonishing reports today. And the chief executive of this open borders charity also happened to be in the audience of that Question Time and just happened to have been randomly selected, of course, by Fiona Bruce to ask another.
John, I did get up over 1,000 followers or watchers, and they haven't allowed me to go stream there yet. I don't know. It says something about getting verified, and I can't find out how you verify yourself over on Getter. I thought I was verified there, actually. I gave him my phone number, email, and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't been verified yet, I guess. I guess that's why it doesn't give me the go live button there.
Other question in which the British people were lectured to. Remember how insane this was when men who broke into the country illegally were given a national platform on the state broadcaster, remember, funded by you, to lecture you about the merits of having a secure border. And in fact, one of them, and I really couldn't believe this, he started reading from his phone, which was a bit of a telltale sign at the time that he was being told what to say and fed his lines. He started talking about how Britain should leave the ECHR and even started talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol. I didn't realize that men who broke into the country from Iran just a short while ago happened to be experts in British constitutional law. Now we know why. They had been planted there and coached on what to say, fed their lines by this open borders charity. The BBC knew about this, and they were there for one reason and one reason only, to act as a vehicle and mechanism for open borders propaganda from the BBC. The fact that they were in the audience at all is a disgrace. The fact that the BBC concealed it is even worse. I'm afraid the BBC is morally bankrupt. And you may as well now at this point assume that every bit of news you see on the BBC is in fact a clandestine operation by an open borders charity.
I've gained about 40 already, 40, 50 people already. So I'll keep working on it. I'll try to get up over 3,500. I didn't know there was this particular number because it was a time when I was live there, but I think they changed their policies. I was live when Laura Loomer was on it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks, John. It has helped. I'm up to like, I want to say 1,020 or something like that. So it's helping, and I'm posting a little bit more, although I don't normally go there that often, you know. I'll try to get up over that number in case people prefer, but then the comments don't come through to this. But if it happens to come over on Getter, I'll just open up a tab for Getter as well, you know. It's a lot to manage, but that's what I'll do, you know. So.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where first up it's the Makerfield by-election, a tough race between Labour and Reform and Restore. If Andy Burnham succeeds getting in Makerfield, he will then challenge Keir
And Burnham did get in. And he's as bad as Starmer for letting Islam in.
Starmer for the leadership of Labour. In other news, the BBC says it's going to cut 2,000 jobs in an effort to try and save £500 million because trust in news has never been lower. What they're failing to mention is the fact that trust in news is so low because of the BBC, because of the lies that it's been putting out, because it's been used as a tool of the government to put out propaganda, and because of things like Hugh Edward, their most treasured newsreader, who we continue to pay our money to long after he was caught showing his ringer to young boys on the internet. And finally, Bristol Council, run by the Green Party, says they don't want to see a single England flag during the World Cup because it makes migrants feel vulnerable. I will just say to migrants, if you don't like the England flag, darling, why not pick a country that you do like the flag of and maybe settle there? That's it, my darlings, here in batshit bonkers. Well, I think it's Britain.
Think it's Britain, huh?
So the UK's Independent Rape Gang Inquiry has released their 219-page report on the so-called grooming gangs that have been sexually exploiting girls throughout the UK for more than 70 years. And what they found is worse than the Epstein files, which is probably why you're not going to hear a whole lot about it from the media. In fact, not one single story yet on any of the major news networks, the New York Times, the Washington Post, or the Wall Street Journal. They're too busy water testing the reflecting pool like it's a CSI episode. So here's what investigators found. Buckle up. They estimate at least 250,000 girls across the UK, predominantly white, have been sexually assaulted by so-called grooming gangs since the 1950s. As much as 95% of the abusers were Pakistani men, and the first-hand accounts are almost too vile to describe. Women, including young girls, have been drugged, trafficked, gang raped, tortured, and passed around like community garbage bags by Muslim men who were led into the United Kingdom and their descendants. Multiple women have described being assaulted by large groups of men as part of Islamic religious rituals. The report also describes widespread efforts by British authorities and town councils to downplay, ignore, or outright cover up these crimes for fear of being called racist and Islamophobic. Authorities, including social services, consistently failed to report the race of the perpetrators or the religious motivation behind the crimes. Investigators said that in 13,000 cases, Keir Starmer, who's now the British Prime Minister, but who was formerly the Director of Public Prosecutions, reportedly dropped charges against men found to be sex trafficking girls and let them off with a warning note. Almost all of them were Pakistani Muslims. Many victims who tried to get help said they were handed birth control instead. In fact, multiple women said they were sent back to their abusers after local health and social services declined to help. One girl was found to have multiple internal injuries and STDs in her throat and genitals. She was handed back to her Muslim abuser anyway. This is real. It's about 1 billion times bigger than the Epstein files. It is the true story of how a Western nation let demons through its gates and then turned a blind eye while their own women were passed around like a bong because they didn't want to be called racist. It's the story of how mass, unfettered migration ruins civilized nations. And it's the story of how Islam is a violent and perverse ideology that is built on the degradation of women and children. It treats its own women like breeding cattle and non-Muslim women like cheap toys who were put here by Allah to be violated. All cultures are not equal, and this one sucks, and it should be sent back to the hellhole from which it came. And everybody who is complicit in this garbage should be rotting in prison.
Amen on that.
Jeff! Jeffy! Oi! Oi, I'm going to get the child. You're all on camera, mate. You're all on camera. Get back. Oi! You're all on camera. Go right now. No, you're all on camera. You're all on camera. I am not video call. I'm not video call. I am not video call. I'm away from them now. You're all on video call. No, you won't. On the what ground?
Must have had a hurdy post.
The government has just announced plans for vast internet restrictions with enormous changes for everyone.
The government will ban access to social media for all children
under the age of 16. I'm calling on tech companies operating in this country to introduce device controls.
The government says that this is not surveillance.
You could be locked out of social media accounts. Our phones will restrict our internet access to child-friendly content only. Government-mandated AI software will constantly monitor our messages, video calls, and photo albums for banned activity. We can all agree that children should spend less time in front of screens and more time outside. But planned restrictions on messaging, streaming, and browsing raise the potential of spyware in our pockets. Here are 5 things the government won't tell you. 5. ID checks for everyone. The only way to escape Starmer's Great British Firewall is to undergo a digital ID check on the device or website to register yourself as an adult user. This means potentially having to upload a copy of your driving licence, passport, or other form of ID. Isn't that convenient for a government that has been failing to win the public over with plans to introduce a national digital ID system? Or you could choose to have your face scans instead. Which brings me to my next point. 4. It's a security risk. These measures will be forcing children and adults alike into risky behaviours online by demanding people send IDs or open their webcams and take photos of themselves to send over the internet. What could go wrong with that? Well, a lot actually. In 2025, 70,000 ID photos from age verification checks were leaked from the messaging app Discord. The same year, a dating app called T promised to delete users' face scans.
On Friday, the app says hackers gained access to thousands of images on the site, including ID cards and selfies.
But instead, tens of thousands of them ended up on a notorious image board. 3. The death of anonymity. Digital ID checks to speak online mean the end of online anonymity. When anonymity is gone, so is safety for the people who need it most. Domestic abuse survivors, victims of coercive control, dissidents fleeing authoritarian regimes. For them, being forced to hand over their identity just to go online isn't an inconvenience, it's a danger to their lives. But it affects all of us. The death of anonymity online would mean less honesty, less whistleblowing, less comedy, less debate, and less freedom. 2, it's not working.
Starmer says no, you're not going on social media. So
I'll find a way. I'll take
how?
VPN, mate.
Australia was the first country to age-gate social media platforms with digital ID checks, but it hasn't worked. A recent poll found that the majority of Australian children still use restricted social media apps 6 months on from the ban. And 70% of the children who use restricted sites in Australia say it was easy to get past that ban.
I know a lot of my friends bypassed it, including my little brother who used my older brother's ID to get past, and a lot of my friends just created a new account. I just had to put my face in a circle and open and close my mouth to prove that I was a real person, not a photo. And it waited for a minute. I got a few notifications saying you're back on, and then I got a screen that said you're back on Instagram, you're back on Snapchat, you passed the ban.
Instead of keeping children off social media sites, the social media ban forces everyone to go through intrusive ID checks, putting our personal information at risk and ending privacy online. 1. There's a growing resistance. Big Brother Watch is campaigning against ID checkpoints online, but it's not just us raising the alarm. 42 child protection representatives have issued a joint statement saying, "We believe that social media bans are the wrong solution." And how are teenagers taking the news?
Yes, thank you, John. Well, we watched it on a big screen all together. I'm going to just do a quick thing now so you can see it. Could you please put your hands up, those of you who welcome the ban? Hands up for those who welcome the ban. So this just gives you an idea. I think it's pretty fair to say that most of these students there, 11 to 14, most are pretty disappointed with the ban.
If this is really about young people, why were young people not at the centre of the process? And why were the experts ignored? That's why we're asking you today to help us build the biggest campaign against these sweeping internet restrictions by becoming a Big Brother Watch supporter. I'll put a link in the description underneath. And if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Let me finish this. It's hard to cover all the platforms. Where was I? Okay, here we go.
Let me ask you a question. How are you not horrified? I just finished reading this report. Young girls who have been raped and molested by these barbaric Islamic Pakistanis. Where are you? Where are you women? Where are you social justice warriors? Where are you feminists? Where are you mothers and fathers? Where are you decent human beings? You care about politics and political correctness and gaslighting? You don't care about these girls? You don't care about our civilization? You don't care about our world? Where are you? Why are you focused on the wrong things? Where's your humanity? Defend the truth. Get off your bums and do what is right. Do what is moral. Put your politics aside. The barbarians are not just at the gate, they're in our cities. Do something. Speak up. You want to march for something right? March for the girls who have been molested and raped in the UK. Do that.
It'd be great if he did get rid of it, Wolf. It'd be great. And then we go back to the competition for the dollar, for the medical dollar.
Do you know what other countries has VPN restricted by the government or has no VPN at all because they are banned? China, Russia, Iran, Iraq, Belarus, North Korea, even though they do not have internet there. We all know
soon to be UK
that the United Kingdom is a tyrannical state by now. They don't try to hide it anymore. But don't get fooled.
Because they want to control everything.
This social media ban is not about protecting children. This VPN ban is not about protecting children because they made it very clear that they don't give a damn about their
That's
children.
why they're fighting now, huh?
If they cared about their children,
Besides, I don't hate Israel.
The hundreds of thousands of migrants that have been abusing and grooming their kids. 250,000
Israel first,
were groomed by Pakistani gangs. Yet, they hid it.
If he was Israel first, he wouldn't have let up on Iran, and he would have let the people rise up and win.
And they allowed it to happen. So, I am not buying that they are doing this to protect their children.
Yeah, the healthcare companies made a lot of money off of Obamacare.
And also, they proved they are a tyrannical state when they banned political commentators, me among them, from entering their country simply because they don't like what we have to say. They proved that they are a tyrannical state when they locked in jail people who talked about these rape gangs a few years ago. They proved they are a tyrannical state when they locked in jail thousands of people simply because they posted a meme or they
but you can't talk about the 250,000 women that got raped.
We do not believe that you
mostly
are
by
doing
Pakistani.
This
Some were Somalis.
You are doing this because you are so afraid of the next generations, realizing that because of you they have no future, that because of you they are getting raped on a daily basis, that because of you they cannot walk on the streets safely. Don't get fooled, guys. Don't get fooled.
It's actually white guilt. We've created this culture in the West where I think white people have been demonized and have been demonizing themselves for the sins of their forefathers. And it's been to ignore the wins of their forefathers as well, right? There's a lot of focus on the fact that the British Empire engaged in slavery, which is of course awful, but there's an ignorance of the fact that the British Empire was also the first major power to end slavery across its empire and force other empires to end slavery too. And I think what's happened is that many white people feel so consumed by guilt that they're
Come on, you talk about more than whatever country you live in.
Reacting in a way to be defensive and avoid being labeled as racist no matter what. And I think that's what happens in incidents like this where, yeah, you could say it's racism against white people, but I think it's deeper. I think white people are scared. And I think when you have policies that are based on fear, you get undesirable outcomes like this. So when JD Vance says that you've been teaching people self-hatred, I think he's right. I think self-hatred is the reason why people don't have rational immigration policy where they say, hey, we can allow immigrants in, but we need to make sure that they're culturally compatible with the project.
Well, the other thing is not to come in and get all free stuff. I mean, if you're going to come in, you better work.
Whether it's in UK or America, it's not about race. It's about making sure that they're a fit for what we're doing here.
Okay,
and in both America and in the UK, you just allowed anyone in. Right? And that doesn't make any sense.
Suicidal empathy is exactly what got the UK in the position that they are in. And here's a fun little fact. Did you know that one of the less talked about traits of a psychopath is their uncanny ability
I know midterms
to be able
are coming,
to manipulate
and
somebody's
usually the party in
empathetic
power
response
loses.
in order to
It's
gain
not
an
unusual.
advantage in some sort of situation? Doesn't that sound really similar to the progressive side of politics?
2 times that's happened.
How they change narratives. These aren't Pakistani men. These men are victims. They are refugees. And therefore, they should not be held accountable and should be held to a lesser standard than these poor girls who were raped. 250,000 girls that are going to endure trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder for the rest of their lives while the government tries to keep it under wraps. Suicidal empathy is going to be the downfall of any modern day society. Period.
It is.
Obviously, she wasn't a virgin or new to sex.
So you don't see it as rape?
I don't.
And she's 13. She's 13 years old.
Yeah, that's not rape.
Yes, obviously, that's some responsibility lies for it. But as far as grooming is concerned, I think that the judge has gone over the board, the jury has gone over the board, the police has gone over the board, just because these lads were Asian.
Bit of an age difference there, I tell you that.
I find it really interesting that Australia, Canada, and the UK are now going to ban anybody under 16 from using social media for their own safety. Once they hit the age of 16, they're allowed on social media, but they have to provide an ID, which will then pretty much put these kids into digitalized prisons way ahead of time. Now, what I find really interesting is they're claiming...
I'd rather they have a tax, lower taxes, lower tax rate, because what they tend to do is they'll put high tax rates, then they'll put in all these loopholes for them to keep from having to pay the tax. It's better to have a lower tax and not have all the loopholes. And I don't care about Israel one way or the other, for one. And Israel's can't buy the whole world. I mean, it's a little tiny country. In fact, the population of Israel or Jews in the world is the lowest of all the people in the world.
That it's for the safety of the kids. Is that right, Keir Wanker Twat Starmer with low testosterone? Is it for the safety of the kids?
I don't hate
Because
Jews.
I don't think you care about the safety of the kids, considering 250,000 of British girls have been raped. And yes, I have to say that because of like the algorithm
it's better for them not to be
by
killed
gangs
every day.
over, how should I say, 20, 30 years? Let me just show you. A 2019 report led by MP Rupert Lowe and survivor Sammy Woodhouse alleges that at least 250,000 young white British girls endured repeated trafficking and torture from predominantly grooming gangs since the 1950s, with the abuse surging after 1990s immigration. It accuses authorities of systemic failures due to fears of racism accusations, citing cases like Rotherham and Telford, where police dismissed victims as you-know-what, and councils prioritized votes. The estimate scales local data nationally through critics question its accuracy amid lack of official tallies and ongoing government inquiry. This is known as the Grape Gang Inquiry Report. I don't think it's just the foreign nationals that are doing this. I think it's being orchestrated by the royal family, who are a huge part of the Epstein-like circle. And we already know about Prince Andrew. You think that, King Charles isn't part of it either, or Prince William or Prince Harry? They probably are. And so Keir Starmer is now protecting like these P3DO files and these Epstein types, and he's saying that he cares about your kids' safety online, when the actual truth is they just want your kids to be digitalized before anybody else. And why do I say that? Because the health workers actually looked at one of these girls who was a victim and just gave her birth control and told her to, stay safe. And then there's also this in the inquiry. On one occasion, a police officer returned Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring and told the men to have fun with her. Isn't that funny that a police officer would do that? As I've said before, in the UK, Canada, and Australia, your police force is sold out, your health administration is sold out, your governments are sold out, and they're being run by a royal family of pedophiles and Epstein types. I said what I said.
She's from Canada, by the way.
This is a special song. Written for the one and only Keir Starmer and his incompetent party, the Labour Party. This one's for every person who's sick to death of being ignored. You stand there grinning while While the country falls apart, cold little speeches from a hollow fucking heart. You talk about change like we're too thick to see, but all you've brought is pain and misery. You say you're listening, but you don't hear a thing. You choose to turn a blind eye while we decline. Families breaking, streets full of fear, and still you stand there lying year after year. You won't step down, you won't take blame. You hide behind your party while the streets catch flame. The nation is drowning in chaos and lies, and you look straight through us with dead empty eyes. You're not a leader, you're a fucking disgrace, a smug little coward with power on his face. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Shove your digital ID up your ass. Shove your ideas where the sun don't shine. You keep saying that you won't step down while this fucked up nation is crossing the line. You don't fucking care about the Brits. You don't give a shit what people say. We shout it loud from town to town, but you turn your back and crawl away. There's chaos in Ireland, chaos through the UK. People are screaming and you've got fuck all to say. Up and down the country, anger fills the night, because nothing you touch ever turns out right. Children don't feel safe, parents live in fear. Every broken promise gets worse every week. Attacks everywhere, panic on the street, and still you act like you haven't faced defeat. You're happy to let the chaos sail in, then leave us to suffer through the fear and the strain. You sit there smug while the pressure grows, then call us racist when the anger shows. You sit in comfort while the rest of us rot, pretending you care when we know you do not. Your own party knows it, they want you gone. Some have walked away because they know you're wrong. You're not fit to govern, not fit to lead. All you care about is power and greed. You've lost the people, you've lost the right. Now the whole damn country is ready to fight, not with fists, not with fire, but with voices raised higher and higher. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker. Keir Starmer's a wanker.
That's actually a pretty good one, actually, to be honest.
He's in London. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Mark. Just thought I'd let you know, my daughter's staying here with her baby. She was just changing him. She doesn't listen to talk. I always listen to it. And she was listening to what you said about the 10,000 immigrants being housed in social housing. Now, she's had her name on the waiting list for 12 years. They're paying £1,750 a month rent. How do you think she feels? She's very upset about hearing that. It's not you, but it just brought reality to her. It's terrible.
Well, Danny, did you say it's your sister?
No, my daughter.
Your daughter. So your daughter's been waiting 12 years for
she's
social.
Next to me. Yeah, she's next to me, and they pay £1,750 a month rent.
I mean, 1,750 is a huge amount of rent, and it's money I'm sure she hasn't got. And then, how does she feel that people that have entered the country illegally, whose background we have no information about, will go ahead of her in the queue?
Well, she's next to me now. She's upset because she's not really into politics. I've got to be honest.
No.
But when she heard that, she couldn't believe it. She even said, "Mum, did you hear what Talk TV was telling about the immigrants?" It's honestly, it is upsetting. But what can you do? They're here, and you'll never get rid of them. We're all in the same boat. We all know what we feel, but it's here. And I think the country is completely my opinion, I think the country's finished.
Tend to agree with him, sadly.
To a story we've been following that's getting a lot of national attention right now. A new bombshell report out of the United Kingdom on grooming gangs involving rape and child exploitation, revealed from one member of parliament.
This report is over 200 pages long, and it goes into the root causes of probably the most extensive, widespread scandal that has ever beset Britain. And it involves failure by the British establishment. And by the British establishment, I mean, obviously, government ministers, the civil service, local government, social services, the police.
The biggest scandal in UK history. Now, just think about that. According to the 200-page report, it reveals the mass rape of up to 250,000 working-class white girls by gangs of primarily Pakistani Muslim men. The media, local police, not reporting on it. Rupert Lowe is the member of parliament in the United Kingdom, and you just saw him in that video, and he is the one who made sure that that report was researched and written and distributed. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hello, Edie. How are you?
Wonderful. You were the head of this report. First, tell me what was the most compelling thing that you found out?
Well, it's not just me. It's a whole team of people. And I should pay credit to Sammy Woodhouse and Marlon West and Natalie and the whole team of people and a lot of the people who actually edited and produced the report, which took us a long time. It's quite extraordinary that this has been going on for 30, 40, probably 50 years. And the British establishment has done absolutely nothing about it. And you may have noticed that the BBC, Sky News, a lot of the main broadcasters, the Daily Telegraph, have done very little to actually highlight this report. I think it's had more coverage in America than it has in the UK.
And that's really part of the biggest problem, isn't it? Because you uncover in this what appears to say that they didn't cover these, they didn't listen to the victims, they didn't go after suspects because they feared being called racist.
Well, I think it started a long time ago, Edie, and I think what's happened is it's gathered momentum, rather like a snowball going down the hill. And it's got to a stage now where to admit that it's been happening on such a sort of systemic scale across the country. And I think we've been very conservative with what we've actually identified and the number of girls that we think have been groomed and raped and abused. So I think it goes far deeper than we've probably put forward. But it is quite extraordinary that the Labour Party in particular has put power ahead of principle, that they have allowed basically the mass rape of these most vulnerable girls within our society by largely Pakistani Muslims. There are some Somalis, there are some Afghanis, there are some Eritreans, there are some Bangladeshis. But on the whole, it's Pakistani Muslim men, and they're very often from the same part of Pakistan, from a place called Mirpur. And as we go into in the report, a lot of this goes to the cultural difference between a Christian culture and a Muslim culture. I think we had this post-war plan, which probably emanated from Europe, where they're fixated with open borders and mass immigration, which has been happening, and multiculturalism. And I think they know that multiculturalism is not and has not worked. And to some extent, you've seen it in the US as well.
Yeah, we've seen this report, though. I mean, it details gruesome things done to these victims. One occasion, you uncover where a police officer returned someone named Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring and told the men to, quote, have fun with her. We all know here in America who Jeffrey Epstein is. There is a lot of conspiracy around that folks talk about. But when you read something like that, why haven't the authorities, why hasn't the parliament done something more? Why aren't they helping save these young girls?
Well, I think, again, it goes, as you said earlier.
Because all they're worrying about is power.
Earlier to this fear of being called racist. And that now has run through British society. A lot of it you have to lay at the door of Tony Blair and his parliament from 97 onwards, where they passed some very malign legislation. They also undermined our judiciary, who are also implicit in this, or complicit, I should say. So I think
you're right, John.
I think it's this fear of being called racist, it's this fear of having to accept that the multiculturalism that they fated as the way forward, which I personally think was part of the post-war reconstruction of Europe, where I think they wanted to destroy the nation state and create a sort of super state, which didn't have if you like, the borders and the pride of a nation state. Now, I love a sort of cooperating nation states rather than global superpowers, where I think, if you try and break down borders and you try and break down cultures, you always get injustice. So I think, for me, it's like trying to mix oil and water, as I think I said in one of my interviews.
Yeah.
But I honestly think it's such a huge evil that it's very difficult now for all of those who've been playing a part in this for so long to actually hold their hands up and own up to it.
Mr. Lowe, we are starting to feel that here in the United States as well. And I think that that's what's so beneficial for us, is to see what happens when, you want to be multicultural and accepting and open. But at the same time, there are certain cultures that haven't traditionally seemed to blend in with what we have, what we cherished. And it's really something I think that we can learn from a lot. And I certainly appreciate you taking the time.
I think you can learn a lot from it. And I think, I have no problem with targeted immigration if people come to other people's countries and they accept the fact they've got to speak English, they've got to respect the Christian culture, they've got to integrate, they've got to accept the laws and the rules and regulations of and the culture of that country.
That's what we're not getting here, though. We're getting the
You don't get that in places like Minnesota, where I think you've got a very big, understand, Somali
yes, we do.
Subset.
I'm fascinated by this report, and I think that we in America have a lot to learn from this about how to try to integrate in our society, but do it in a way that makes sense and respects our culture. Rupert Lowe, thank you so much.
If they're coming here to conquer us, I don't think it's integration. I think it's a takeover, and it's planned.
Much for spending time with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Edie.
Thank you.
Information. Truth.
But this report has brought out some numbers, the latest statistics. Firstly, the cover-up that went on for years and years, which was supposed to expose the background of the criminals, the ethnicity, the religion, and everything else. That was hidden, even though for a very long time, people like Tommy Robinson and many others were shouting and screaming, saying, we have the data, listen to us. And the British state said, no. 250,000 victims. And these are the numbers, these are the people that we now know. 250,000 young girls.
And a lot of times they're writing them down as the victims were raped by whites, which it was not. It was Islam people mostly.
And women over the last few decades have been targeted. Primarily the Labour Party, local councils and governments were to be blamed because they primarily happen in those areas. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, continues to not deny that there is even such thing as grooming gangs in the capital. But the report confirms many cases have been happening in London. It calls for a specific offence of group-based child exploitation, tougher sentencing, cumulative sentences for multiple victims, and strong...
Well, and the other thing is they deleted a lot of the reports so that 250,000 doesn't count all the thousands they deleted of reports.
Witness protections. The report also recommends mandatory recording of perpetrators and victims' ethnicity, religion, nationality, and immigration status in all of these cases. It calls for deportation of foreign nationals who have been convicted. It also demands mandatory annual training for police, social workers, teachers, doctors, nurses, taxi licensing officers, and youth workers on group-based CSE patterns, the child exploitation patterns.
That's the word I was trying to get. Yeah.
It also says that the official national inquiry is too narrow and designed to avoid the most politically sensitive questions about demographics, culture, and religion, for example. Now, the report itself is 219 pages. That's why we had to go through it for some time. £600,000 were raised for this inquiry. Well spent.
I think I'm doing just
great job by Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe. Over 20,000 people helped this inquiry according to Rupert Lowe's earlier comments in the House of Commons.
More to come on that, that's for sure. Now here's Islamist from Pakistan that they caught. A lot of people in England have been going out and catching them and trying to turn them into the police themselves because they aren't doing anything about it. Watch this one they caught red-handed.
13-year-olds, minors, okay?
I'm famous.
No, for all the wrong reasons. It's called infamous, not famous. Infamous. There's a big difference. Because famous people, we'd want to go and meet them.
They caught him and they're all surrounding him, not letting them get away.
I want to wipe you on the bottom of my foot.
A prolific groomer of children.
Do you want to phone the police or not?
The police are coming.
I'm waiting for them.
Sergeant,
I've got nothing to say.
Right, okay, I'll start reading your chat logs then, okay?
How dare you
say they're hanging on to him?
How dare you talk to a child in the manner you've been speaking to us?
We dare because we have the evidence to dare. If you have a problem with it, take it up with the police when they come. But they're going to go through your phone and our evidence, and they're going to have you bang 2 rights. And every person that you know around Birmingham, your family, your friends, back home, everywhere, are going to know about this. We will put it everywhere.
I forget it and make it full screen, then when I switch tabs, it goes away.
I don't care. I've got no friends.
Sergeant can. Oh, you're not going to have any after this. You'll have a lot of friends in prison. That's for sure.
I've got family in prison, friends in prison.
That's no. Oh, are they into there for this as well?
When you know that you're a prison, Sergeant,
Nice cup of tea.
I know for a fact, Sergeant, that you're an expert groomer because you are so manipulative. Your chat is expert level grooming. Sympathy, virtue signalling, constant virtue signalling, asking the child for money, requesting the child an hour ago to pay for a hotel tonight because your flat's got no heating in it. A child asking a child for money, a grown man like you taking money from a child, a 13-year-old.
I'm glad that you come. Listen, no. I'm not going to say what you're going to do.
He knows damn well he's going to get away.
Do what you got to do, sir.
When questioned,
let him out. Which you may later allow in court. I'm glad
anything you do say, maybe give you an evidence, not calling child protection, assisting ably, professionally, by the best team in the UK.
Unbelievable.
Suicidal empathy is exactly what got the UK in the position that they are in. And here's a fun little fact. Did you know that one of the less talked about traits of a psychopath is their uncanny ability to be able to manipulate somebody's empathetic response in order to gain an advantage in some sort of situation? Doesn't that sound eerily similar to the progressive side of politics? How they change narratives? These aren't Pakistani men. These men are victims. They are refugees. And therefore, they should not be held accountable and should be held to a lesser standard than these poor girls who were raped. 250,000 girls that are going to endure trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder for the rest of their lives while the government tries to keep it under wraps. Suicidal empathy is going to be the downfall of any modern day society. Period.
Period. Exactly. 100%.
So let me get this right. You can travel to a zoo. You can pay your ticket to gain entrance to the zoo.
I touched on the story yesterday about this Muslim guy threw a 3-year-old, picked up a 3-year-old and threw it in with the crocodiles. And crocodiles tried to eat the little 3-year-olds. Luckily, so far it survived, but it's in critical condition. Broke its spine and all that kind of stuff.
You can wander around the zoo, look at all of the lovely animals. You can then pick up a 3-year-old child that has nothing to do with you. You don't even know them. Throw that poor child into the crocodile enclosure. Be arrested by the police, but you're not fit for questioning, and get released on bail. Make that make sense.
They're injured for life.
That poor 3-year-old child, just wandering around with his parents, having a fabulous time, looking at all the fabulous animals. Serious critical condition. Because some very, very strange, odd, weird person, potentially mental health issues, we don't know. He's decided to throw a child into the crocodile enclosure, but he's not fit for trial. Sorry, he's not fit for questioning. but he was fit enough to get to the zoo. He was fit enough to buy a ticket to get into the zoo. And he was fit enough to wander around the zoo. And he's out on bail. Does that make sense to you?
Not to me.
Wow, the Olympics so cool. I wonder what's going on in Austria. Oh, the president is asking women to wear a hijab to show solidarity with Islamic migrants. On behalf of Austrian women, how about 9? No, Europe.
How about they stop wearing them in our side to become migrants, legals, you know, so they become part of our culture.
European women should be free and liberated. Western women don't want to be covered like a fucking dementor. I thought you guys believed in my body, my choice. Here's an idea. If the Islamists are offended by non-Islamic fashion, they can go back to Sandland. Back you go to the Islamic countries that oppress women. You don't like it in Europe? Then get the fuck out. Europeans are generally very polite and kind, welcoming, warm, loving. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you've overstayed your welcome and you're not wanted in Austria anymore. So off you pop, Mohammed. Probably a bad choice of words because of, you know, the vests. Okay, danke, auf Wiedersehen.
There's another Pakistani Muslim, 35 years old.
Tonight, the grooming gang investigation that shocked Britain. A Rochdale market trader, described in court as the ringleader of a child exploitation network, has been jailed for 35 years. 65-year-old Mohammed Zahid of Station Road, Crumpsall, was convicted alongside several other men following a lengthy Greater Manchester Police investigation into the abuse and exploitation of vulnerable teenage girls. The court heard some of the victims were as young as 13 years old when they were first targeted. Jurors were told the girls were manipulated, groomed and exploited over a number of years by members of the group. Much of the investigation centred around Rochdale's indoor market in the centre of Rochdale. Court hearings revealed Mohammed Zahid, known locally as Bossman, operated a lingerie and underwear stall at the market. Prosecutors said vulnerable girls were allegedly groomed around the market area with gifts, food, money and alcohol before the abuse escalated. The court heard Zahid had previously been jailed in 2016 for offences involving a 14-year-old girl who went to his stall to buy tights for school. Other defendants convicted in the case included 67-year-old Mushtaq Ahmed of Corona Avenue, Oldham, and 50-year-old Kasir Bashir of Napier Street East, Oldham, both of whom were also linked in court reporting to market trading around Rochdale, and both are originally from Pakistan. 44-year-old Mohammed Shahzad of Beswick Royd Street, Rochdale, 49-year-old Nahim Akram of Manley Road, Rochdale, and 41-year-old Nisar Hussain of Newfield Close, Rochdale, were all convicted in connection with repeated rape offences involving one of the victims. Court reporting also identified Mohammed Shahzad, Nahim Akram and Nisar Hussain as men connected to taxi driving in the Rochdale area during the period covered by the offences. 39-year-old Pakistan-born Rohiz Khan of Athol Street, Rochdale, was also convicted in connection with the wider investigation. The court also heard some of the convicted men had worked as taxi drivers in the area. Under UK safeguarding and licensing rules, individuals convicted of serious sexual offences would fail enhanced DBS background checks and would be barred from holding taxi or private hire licences. Court reporting identified several of the convicted men as being born in Pakistan, including Mohammed Zahid, Mushtaq Ahmed, Kasir Bashir, and Rohiz Khan. The court heard one.
Oh, those all sound like very American names, didn't they?
Victim believed her phone number had been circulated among large numbers of men connected to the abuse network. Another victim said concerns had previously been raised with authorities, but vulnerable children were not properly protected at the time. During sentencing, the judge described the treatment of the girls as appalling, stating they had been abused, degraded, and then discarded. Kasir Bashir was sentenced in his absence after absconding while on bail before the trial began. Several of the men received lengthy prison sentences for offences connected to rape and child exploitation. Greater Manchester Police said the convictions followed years of investigative work and praised the victims for their courage in coming forward. The case has once again raised serious questions about how vulnerable children were failed by institutions responsible for protecting them. Police say survivors of abuse should never feel afraid to come forward, regardless of how much time has passed. The victims involved in the case continue to have lifelong anonymity.
How would you like to be put in jail with these thugs?
Under UK law.
They have no morals.
Thanks for watching.
They
Like,
have no
comment,
morals.
and share for more cases.
Unbelievable. All right, here's a young woman, teenager, that was raped under a bridge here thing. Just another day in the life in Britain, I tell you that.
What's happening to women and girls here?
They're
being raped by men, then they're getting
How come
trafficked
some of these
all
don't
over
come
the
through
country.
sound?
And
Dang it.
one of them, Tommy,
It's about the grooming
is 11
gangs in
girls,
England.
and
Okay,
most
I'll
of
delete that one too. Let me close that. No. I wasn't quite ready to get onto that.
The government's let grooming gangs run wild for years while calling anyone who complains racist. Our young girls are being sacrificed for their twisted diversity agenda, and it's disgusting. Teachers are pumping kids full of gender nonsense and ignoring real dangers like knife crime and rape. They're more worried about pronouns than keeping our girls safe from the chaos Labour's imported.
I think I paid a
So here I am outside Norwich Crown Court, where 7 Afghan refugees are inside after being charged with over 40 sexual offences
Did I play this yesterday? I can't remember.
between them. Namely, they allegedly raped at least 2 girls between 2023 and 2025. These men came to the UK via a small boat and lorry between 2020 and 2022. Now they're inside this courtroom, and the court case was meant to start at 10:30 at courtroom 1. Unfortunately, it's been delayed until 11:30, thanks to a translator. As the translators are now here, we're just waiting to be let back into the courtroom. There are as well 4 Muslim men who are here to support their mates who have been convicted or have been charged with raping kids. So that's very, very normal. One of them actually runs a kebab shop over on Prince of Wales Road. Interesting stuff. But we're going to go into the court. We're going to go into the court case. Apparently, one of the men is inside there. Yeah, we're going to go into that court case, and then tonight at what time? Then tonight at 6 p.m. we've got our big demonstration. So if you can make our demonstration, please do. Friday the 19th of June, so that's today at 6 p.m. outside Norwich City Hall. I'll catch you all later. Cheers.
My name is Dion Muller. I'm an ex-police officer from Leicestershire Constabulary. During my service, I was awarded several letters of commendation. I received a Chief Constable's Commendation for Outstanding Service and was the recipient of a Bravery Award from the Prime Minister at that time, which I received at number 10 Downing Street. Thank you. I've not come here to speak to you today. I've come here to speak to them. The police officers of this country. On the 19th of October 2018, and I hope you are listening, former Chief Crown Prosecutor Mr. Nazir Afwaz stated in an interview to the BBC Radio 4 that in 2008, the Labour government under Prime Minister Gordon Brown and Home Secretary Jackie Smith sent a circular to all police forces in this country saying that as far as these young girls who are being exploited in towns and cities, we believe that they have made an informed choice about their sexual behaviour.
You gotta remember, some of these kids are 13 or less.
And therefore, it is not for you police officers to get involved in. Did you know that? The child victims of rape trafficking, which ended in sometimes in instances of murder, were purposely ignored by the British government. The inquiry into these horrific crimes against children laid blame squarely on the management of the social services, the so-called care organisations and the police, when in reality it was the British government who willfully allowed British children as young as 11 years old to become prey to vicious Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. To be repeatedly raped, to be branded with hot irons, to have their tongue nailed to a table, and then to silence their desperate voices with a blanket ban on investigation. Former Home Secretary Jackie Smith is now chairman or chairwoman of a charity formed to support girls at risk of gang violence. You can't make that up. In my opinion, Gordon Brown and Jackie Smith should be serving life in prison for their complicity. Since when do the police not investigate the rape, torture and trafficking of children? Since when can underage children make informed choices about their sexual behaviour?
I do too.
Where is the inquiry into Gordon Brown and Jackie Smith's involvement?
John, will they be able to force your kids to be Muslim? Because that's where it's heading.
On the 18th of May this year in Oldham, the police escorted a large group of angry, masked Muslim men who were screaming obscenities and Allahu Akbar into an estate where a peaceful group of men, women and children were gathered to hear speeches at a legal political rally. The group of Muslim men attacked the people at the political rally with rocks, bricks, bottles and scissors. Video footage clearly shows police officers not reacting to the mob of angry men throwing missiles into a peaceful crowd. Police officers at the scene were not attempting to stop the Muslim men from committing acts of violence against innocent people like you. The violence became so bad that the young children present at the rally were driven away from the scene in a van with a bloody police escort. Shame on you! The video footage from Oldham shows clear dereliction of duty by the police officers present at the scene. Their inaction to protect innocent people from a violent mob is reprehensible, yet no action has been taken against these officers.
John, I know I cover the same thing a lot lately, but I from what I'm seeing is they're going full steam ahead on taking over our countries.
Long and ever-growing list of embarrassing footage available to watch on social media.
And I can see the comparison is so identical to what happened to Iran 47 years ago.
Here is a video of a uniformed female police officer laughing whilst being sexually assaulted at a London carnival. You can watch footage of uniformed police sergeant adorned with rainbow flags dancing in the streets, acting like a clown. There are photographs and videos of uniformed male officers wearing red high-heeled shoes and uniformed officers posing in furry animal masks, along with rainbows painted on official police vehicles. The internet provides us with a story of police officers fishing copies of the Quran from a canal at your expense, whilst in another part of the country a man was arrested for reading passages from the Bible in the street. Even publicly quoting a speech by World War II Prime Minister Winston Churchill has become an arrestable offence, as politician Paul Weston found out to his expense in Winchester in 2014. Is it any wonder then that the British police force has lost the respect of the British people? The police force has been strangled by common purpose training, political correctness, and religious and political bias. The British police force were once the envy of the world. It is now a laughing stock. Your government and chief constables have allowed a once proud and well-respected profession to be dragged into the gutter. They have sacrificed your profession to appease Islamic ideology and political correctness. Let me remind you, police officers standing here not listening to me, that you swore an oath to serve with fairness, integrity, diligence, impartiality, and accord equal respect to all people. You swore to cause the peace to be kept and prevent all offences against people and property to the best of your ability. You are not upholding that oath. There will come a point in time where you men and women of the police forces in this country will have to make a choice. Will you be loyal to your queen and countrymen as you swore you would? Or will you continue to be played as political pawns in a game that you cannot win? I refuse to use the politically correct term police service, as your actions in recent years as a whole are only of a disservice to the British public. Thank you.
Amen.
94% of all terror murders in the UK have been committed by Islamist terrorists, who also make up 75% of counter-terrorism caseloads. We should not be afraid to call out this extreme ideology wherever we see it. It has no place.
94 out of every 100. That's if they're keeping the records right. I bet it's probably even a little higher.
In this country, Islamist extremism is sadly a threat we know all too well in the United Kingdom. In July, we remembered the 52 people murdered by Islamist terrorists in the 7/7 bombings, the deadliest terrorist attack committed on British soil, and the 22 victims of the Manchester Arena attack, also murdered by an Islamist extremist. So does the Home Secretary share my concern that the Prevent caseload is only 10% Islamist in nature?
Yep.
Why would the UK bait migrant men with 12-year-old girls? And
did you see this? The UK government is doing this. They're using 12-year-old girls in advertisements to try to get more Muslim men to come to the country. They're actually paying for this ad.
You heard me correct. A video has just resurfaced of the Refugee Council in the UK using 12-year-old girls to convince migrant men to come over and live in the UK. And this has just been exposed again after we heard about the migrant gangs that were grooming and group graping young girls. I'm gonna play you this video that has me extremely pissed off, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it.
Hello and welcome to Wales. We understand being a refugee isn't easy. They go through so much.
Fleeing your country is difficult, but Wales wants to help you feel welcome.
The Welsh Refugee Council is here to help you.
Wales is seen as a nation of sanctuary. We welcome anyone and everyone. We recognise your skills and talent.
The Welsh Refugee Council offers a lot of support, including
ESOL classes, which means English for Speakers.
They intentionally are using young girls to attract these men to come. And you notice the ones all coming into these countries are fighting age men. It's all part of the plan.
Other languages. It may be hard to learn our language, so we offer support. Employment. You may feel stressed about.
So they had 12-year-old girls do a video telling migrant men they could come over as refugees. They would have a job. They would have a bank account. They would have a place to live. Oh, and by the way,
these are actually advertisements running in their countries to attract them into their countries. You don't think there's a plan? There is.
We have young girls living. Like, what? And after everything that's come out, I am just... Everything I've learned about the UK in the last several years, you people over there that do not agree with these agendas, you need to stand up, because this is not okay, especially after hearing what has been happening to white girls and women in your country. This seems a little bit like they knew potentially who they would want to speak to when they came to the UK, and that's why they used those girls. Just saying. But are you outraged about this too? Like, why would they use them? Like, that task needed 0 children involved. Like, what the?
They want to end Christians and they want to end whiteness, John. That's the 2 things they want to end. They want to end both things. Where was it going to go from here? Right here.
Let me tell you Muslims something, because I'm getting tired of all this radical Islam talk. You see what's going on in the UK and Australia. If you think we're going to have that here, you better think again. If you come to America, you're a guest here. You don't get to come into another man's house, take the opportunities, eat the food, and enjoy all the freedom. Just as you could turn around and disrespect the culture, the religion, the holidays, we don't go there and mock you and judge you and all your customs and traditions. We don't give a shit. But you come here and just talk all your mess, and somehow we're supposed to just deal with it. America allows freedom of religion, but that doesn't require tolerance for disrespect. You're free to practice your religion and live your life. But what you're not free to do is insult this country while benefiting from it. If you hate America and all our customs and Christianity and Christmas and whatnot, then be honest with yourself. What the hell are you doing here? We didn't ask you to come. You're going to respect the house that you stand in, and you're going to take that energy back to the place where you came from. You didn't build this country, you didn't fight for it, and you didn't die for it. But you're going to come in here and act like you run the place. At the end of the day, nobody forced you to be here.
They're self-hating whites.
Now act like it.
They're self-hating whites. That's what they are. Totally are.
This is one of the strangest, most unhinged instances of whataboutism that I've seen. I just happened to be watching Sky News UK today to follow the results of the by-election, and I saw this encounter in full. And obviously it's about the fact that there has been this systematic rape of young girls by Islamist grooming gangs. That's happened. And people are highlighting the concern about that aspect of their culture, the Pakistani rape gangs. It's not all Pakistanis, no one is saying that. And it is a specific sector of the Pakistani community in the UK that disproportionately, in other words, per capita, commit more of these crimes than other people. This is not to say that rape is not committed by every other ethnicity. Now, every other ethnicity has a problem with rape because often rapes are committed as crimes of opportunity. Men do this thing if they have no moral scruples. However,
but they have gangs that plan to do this. It's not one-on-one.
Part of the Western enlightened English British culture more widely that encourages rape or does not frown upon it. Of course not. Quite the opposite. But is there a part of the Islamist Pakistani community which doesn't necessarily frown upon rape in quite the same way that we do? Now that's an important question. And it appears that the answer is that they don't frown upon rape against non-Muslims, and in particular white girls, for whatever reasons they happen to have. But that's the fact of the matter, that there is this culturally conditioned set of memes that does not dissuade certain Pakistani men from committing rape. And that's a problem. So therefore, in highlighting that problem, you might, if you have an immigration policy.
And it's the Pakistan is the one that's so hard, working so hard to keep Trump from bombing Iran because they want to keep that regime in power. if the people overthrow it there, then all this funding and all this being pushed here in America, all the funding behind that would end.
Decide to select against those kinds of people now that you know that that's a problem. But some people just want to ignore it.
They work together.
Instead talk about rapes that are committed elsewhere by other people. But we can talk about the evil of all the problems, can't we?
Yeah. Sorry, Joe. Unbelievable. Where was I going to go next? Oh, I think I was going to get going this one.
So this is a Stop Islamophobia rally in the UK.
Isn't that a trans right there with the blue hair? It's a dude. Stop Islamophobia, and it's the left that's doing it, protesting for it.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight racist God!
Everything I'm seeing here tracks.
But again, a lot of these trans are for doing it with little kids too.
We've got blue-haired ladyboy. We've got man buns with masks. We've got soy boys everywhere. And every single person here looks to be white. White liberals and their suicidal empathy is going to be the downfall.
Exactly what I was talking about.
Prove me wrong.
And they're getting paid often by these NGOs. Often, the guilty verdict has been handed down. Here we go.
Hello to all my European and American friends. I just got off the phone with my lawyer and the verdict is in. The prison sentence has been ruled out.
Now, for a recap, she was going to go to prison because she said something against the Muslims in the rape gangs because one of her friends was raped. And she has previously been raped too.
However, I am still convicted to a fine, but I'm going to tell you everything. For those who may not know, I was facing 4 months of unsuspended prison for stating that the main threat to women in France comes from Black and Arab immigrant men. And I was sued for these words, despite the fact that I was myself the victim of a sexual assault committed by a Tunisian migrant in 2022. Before your incredible mobilization, the judicial system had set out to crush me. I had already been sentenced to 6 months suspended prison and a 3,000 fine for denouncing human trafficking across the Mediterranean Sea. And this time, I think the goal was to finish the job by sending me to prison. But something changed. Following the advice of those close to me, I decided to stop staying silent. I shared my story with you in the hope that it would resonate and honestly.
So us sharing it kept her from ending up in jail, although she still ended up with a high fine. She dared say something about the rape gangs. Now this is happening in France, even as bad or worse than it is in England.
Honestly, I still don't know how to thank you. What happened feels almost unreal. Your support exceeded anything I could have imagined. The mediatic pressure became international. Italy, Germany, Austria, Sweden, Great Britain, Spain, Hungary, the Netherlands, Flanders, Switzerland, and far beyond Europe. The case reached the United States and even reached Japan. Because of you, this absurd injustice was forced to back down. I went from facing 4 months in prison to receiving a 1,000 euros fine. The moment we shine a light on what they are doing, they can no longer hide. We forced them to answer for their policies. Recently in France, there was this Liana case, a pedophile reported repeatedly over the years, victims ignored and predators protected. Politicians only react when a scandal makes headlines. Yet, when it comes to prosecuting speech, the justice system moves back. When it comes to saving lives of the French native people, suddenly it is no longer a priority because it conflicts with their immigrationist agenda. So once again, thank you. Without your mobilization, without your support, God only knows what they would have done to me. You showed me that I was not alone despite what I had come to believe. You gave me the courage to keep fighting and never to give up. More importantly, thanks to your extraordinary generosity and the support you've shown me on Patreon, I have decided to appeal this conviction. So yes, it is a risk. I could end up receiving a harsher sentence, but after everything you have done for me, I simply do not have the right to be coward. In the past, I stood defenseless against what I see as a corrupt justice system. You have now given me both the financial and the psychological means to fight back. I know I will never be alone again, because accepting this ruling would mean surrendering to the dominant narrative. It would be admitting that I was wrong to speak out about what I believe threatens the French people. It would mean accepting a criminal record like an ordinary offender when my only crime was speaking out in what I believe was the public interest. And while I am prosecuted for words, look at what is allowed to flourish elsewhere. In the United Kingdom, the recent reports on the grooming gang scandals have confirmed what victims had been saying for years. Young girls were exploited by organized networks, while the institutions looked the other way, and information about the perpetrators' backgrounds was deliberately downplayed or omitted for fear of accusations of racism. That is the reality many
and go put that racism right up their butt. Go pee up a rope.
Would rather suppress. That is what we are told must not be named. And today I am being convicted for pointing to facts. I say it again, accepting this would make me complicit, and I refuse. Victims should not be punished for speaking while the society protects the silence of those who harm them. So thank you so much. You have given me a second wind, and I will not let you down. You know, for years I was simply fighting to survive economically, crushed by mounting legal costs and endless proceedings. My bank accounts were closed, my social media too, but for the first time, thanks to my Patreon, you have given me something priceless: independence, the freedom to speak without fearing that my voice will be silenced, the freedom not to depend on media outlets that are too afraid to amplify the concerns of ordinary citizens. From now on, I will be your direct correspondent on what is happening in France. I will continue to expose what our institutions, media, and political class would rather keep out of the international spotlights. The world stood with me when I needed it most. Now I intend to make sure the world knows what is happening here. What worries me now are all the others, the people who do not have a community behind them, those who are quietly crushed by this system, just as I nearly was. So it is for them, for the invisible, that I want to keep fighting. And I promise you this, even if I'm too radical for the right-wing politicians in France, my determination and my radicality will not move an inch. Thank you so much. Thank you. I would like to thank each one of you personally, but I just can't because you are too numerous. Thank you again for changing my life.
It's a lot of young women especially standing up now. It encourages me. Here's Farage.
Nigel Farage describes Keir Starmer's under-16 social media ban as an attempt to impose digital ID via the back door. He maintains that the British public should not sacrifice freedoms for a surveillance state that arrests 12,000 people each year for social media posts.
You look like you're on your way to yet another one of these social media bans. However, they're planning to go even further than we did in Australia. You think this is on its way towards the...
They want to control the narrative.
Digital ID.
Yeah. It is absolutely. And I'm really, really worried about this because it seems to me that we're all going to have to prove our age and we would tip the wink. This would mean full facial recognition and going onto a digital register. And I fear that it is digital ID via the back door. We all want kids protected. No one disagrees with that. The question is how we go about it. And the rest of us shouldn't lose our liberties and freedoms for that.
Well, also, unlike Australia, particularly in the big cities in the UK, is this absolute net of facial recognition that exists through, the prism of security cameras, right? Giving government the latest version of your face.
They also want to be able to just come and arrest you if you say any naughty words.
Is something that can only help that surveillance state, right?
Listen, if it meant our streets were safer, it'd be fantastic, but it doesn't. The more surveillance we have, the more knocks at the door, 12,000 last year, for what people say on Facebook or Twitter that others find offensive. And lawlessness now on the streets of London is at a level that is unbelievable. So it's one law for all of us, and a tightening restriction on our freedoms. And for the criminal gangs, they carry on with impunity. For all the cameras we've got have not made us safer. They just haven't.
I agree. All right, I'm going to change subjects slightly, kind of, about the footage. There's footage that has come out of the Kamala Anthony murder and this and that. The victim, according to the left.
Cold-blooded killer Carmelo Anthony got 35 years in prison for the murder of Austin Metcalf. He'll be in prison hopefully till 2066. He'll be in his late 50s when he is released. However, after witnessing the murder, which we now have the footage along with the body cam video from the police, I believe it should have been a life sentence without parole. Little ghetto gangster Carmelo Anthony and his DEI defense team and his hood rat parents, who took all of his Give, Send, Go money and spent it on new homes, new whips, new shoes, and a Carnival cruise. Well, they said that this footage would be what got Carmelo Anthony out of prison. They said that this security footage on your screen right now, which is the moment of the murder, where you can see the tent for the school that Carmelo Anthony doesn't go to. You can see Carmelo Anthony leering around the tent, lurking around the tent. This is supposed to show that Carmelo Anthony was acting in self-defense. This is supposed to show that Carmelo Anthony was ganged up on and was fighting for his life. Instead, what it shows, and you can see right there, is Carmelo Anthony. Let me just rewind for 1 second. Carmelo Anthony getting a light push, which is precisely what happened from Austin Metcalf, saying, "Get out of our tent." He was asked to get out of the tent 15 different times. And then Carmelo Anthony stabs him in the chest and then runs away like a coward. There he goes. Falls down on his face and then runs away like a coward. Extreme violence, zero impulse control, cowardice, throwing the murder weapon as he runs like a little girl and is then subsequently stopped by the police. He's stopped by the police and then he admits that he actually did this. How they ever thought that this would go well at trial, what they did to this guy, I mean, really the people who belong in prison is Carmelo Anthony's parents. Carmelo Anthony belongs in prison, of course.
Because they can get in front of a mic and lie.
Of course. But his parents let this go to a jury trial. I mean, I guess assuming that he'd have like the George Floyd magic or something, there'd be like the saint of George Floyd would come through and rescue him. When all of this evidence clearly shows that they should have pled out.
Well, actually, during the jury trial, they raised a lot of money, but they had a public defender. So they went on trips and stuff with that money.
Out. You say, "I'm guilty. I did it. I'm sorry." You apologize. You bow your head. You say your mea culpas. You weep, you cry, and you hopefully get like 12 years in prison. That's what a smart person would do. I'm actually kind of thankful they're so retarded here. And here you can hear Carmelo Anthony getting arrested and admitting that he is the one who stabbed Austin Metcalf. So here,
North end under a memorial tent.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me.
Okay.
Dispatch 443. I got the suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you like that? Oh, look here.
so they're bringing Carmelo Anthony over.
Y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me.
This is where Carmelo Anthony admits. Wow. It says fear of God on his sweatshirt. Clearly you had no fear of God.
Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained.
Here we go.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspects detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there.
The irony of having fear of God on your sweatshirt.
Okay. We'll figure that out. So nothing on your person at all? Nothing? Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Nothing gonna stab me? Okay. I'm gonna be out with this. A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure. Okay.
It says right here at the 1 minute, 30-second mark, not alleged, I did it. Listen.
Okay.
He says, I'm not alleged, I did it. It's a little hard to hear, but not only did he do it, he took the murder weapon, this is it, and threw it. This is the murder weapon on the bleachers. This, of course, would absolutely, these are extremely sharp knives. These would stab deep into the bone, and it did. It stabbed deep. He took it out of his backpack, and it stabbed straight through into the heart of Austin Metcalf. Again, you can see here Carmelo Anthony. Why couldn't any of this footage have been seen before the trial? Why couldn't any of this been seen? Why couldn't we see this? This makes no sense to me. Collin County judge overseeing Carmelo Anthony's murder trial has released the photo evidence.
Because a lot of the judges won't allow that out.
This is one of the stab wounds. You can look that up for yourself. I'm not going to do that. This is the video that shows Carmelo Anthony running away after he stabbed Austin Metcalf in the heart. Frisco police body camera says, I'm not alleged, I did it. Life in prison. Would have been letting this scumbag off easily.
Well, he did end up crying.
I find it fascinating. Here he is being arrested.
The thing is, a lot of them end up getting out way too early after that, too.
Austin Metcalf's brother, distraught. Further footage of his arrest.
John, did this happen down in Texas? I can't remember. If I remember this, didn't this happen down in Texas?
It's the alleged suspect. Okay.
I'm not alleged I did it. You know what's funny is that this kid had the right instinct. The right instinct was, hey, listen, I listened to too much rap music. I did drugs. I don't know. I'm having a terrible day. I have horrible impulse control. I just took a young man's life, and I'm very sorrowful for that. And I'm going to plead out, and I'm going to suffer my consequences like a man. And those are the kind of actions, especially if you are 17 years old, that get you shorter prison sentences. Maybe you can plead down to manslaughter, right? Where you actually didn't intend to kill anyone. But his family knew that.
I bet you if this trial was in D.C. or New York City, L.A., Chicago, they would have gotten off. I bet you would have gotten off.
It meant that you wouldn't get all the money. You could fundraise off it. You could go out and spin a lie that Carmelo Anthony was being racially attacked here. There's no good reason that Carmelo Anthony evidence could not have been seen by the public in real time during the trial. Transparency of the judicial system is more important now than ever. That's right. Isn't it incredibly unfair to everyone that we got to see in 4K everything happening to George Floyd? And even though that was a approved police hold that they had George Floyd in, and you didn't see any of the preceding, it's the opposite. This is an inverse George Floyd, where you didn't get to see any of George Floyd overdosing, fighting.
Wonder why we didn't have riots, huh?
Being the police, committing crimes.
It's not the right
you didn't
thing
get to
do.
see the hundreds of other felonies that George Floyd committed. You didn't get to see anything that preceded to George Floyd with the police officers. All you got to see was the hold, right, with the knee. And so it's the opposite of that. So they released the one piece of evidence that makes the cop looks guilty, and then none of the preceding evidence that told the full story. It's extremely frustrating the way the media ecosystem works. I post this to show you exactly what it was like before it happened. This is a courthouse reporter.
Yeah, they tried to play it. The cops are racist, right?
Who was there every step of the way. There was no 4-minute fight. There was not even a 1-minute fight. There was no fight. There was no attack. There were no 4 boys. My life, my children's lives, and the Metcalf family were literally threatened and harassed, doxxed, swatted because of this. My children were threatened. And now you can all see it for yourself, how delusional these people are. They wanted to try and lie. Okay. They're so sick. They wanted to try and lie. They thought that maybe...
Did you see there was a bunch of people protesting at the trial to let him out free after the trial?
They could make it a race thing, and they could get enough Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons on their side and BLMs, and they could scare enough people, and they pissed and bitched and moaned about no black people on the jury. They were desperate to try and make this some type of race thing, when really all it was is a young man with a rotted brain or horrible impulse control, incapable of controlling himself, and he killed someone. And unfortunately, that does happen with young men. It's happened throughout all time, and it should have just been chalked up to that. Nobody should have made a bigger deal about it. And he should have suffered his consequences, pled out, gone to prison for the amount of time that the judge felt correct. And that's how the system should work. They tried to make it into a bigger thing. They tried to make this into a race thing. And that is insult to injury to everyone here. Insult to the actual murder that continues to steal from the Metcalf family and disgrace them. And it's really, really hard to forgive that. It's your boy Benny. Right? That's the full story. Glad it's finally out there. See.
I got the camera. I don't know. It might be the same. Someone also uploaded the whole footage, I guess.
North end under a memorial tent.
Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got the suspect, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium.
Doesn't look like he got very far away.
Any weapons on you? Like
he's still at the track meet. Is this near you, John?
Copy, I'll be in route.
Help me, y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Come over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay? Dispatch 443.
I don't see the cops ruffling him up.
I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspects detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there.
Oh, 4 or 5 hours north. Okay, that's up near, up past Houston then, or something.
Okay. We'll figure that out. So nothing on your person at all? Nothing? Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Nothing gonna stab me? Okay.
I'm going to be out with this.
I'm gonna be a little personal there, okay? Just to make sure. Okay. Go. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Victim is over here on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the alleged suspect. All right. Already? No. We searched them. Got nothing on him.
I don't know what happened. 423. Checkers everything about CPR progress for a little bit. Freezing. That's the wrong thing.
This went to trial, and his own witnesses ended up testifying against him. saying, yeah, he was at fault.
Side over here or which side? Up to you. It's up to you.
That's fine. This is closer.
Okay. Let me do one more little check of you, okay? Yes, sir. You don't mind for reaching your pockets, anything like that? You good?
That's why when you have kids, a good spanking once in a while does do them good in the long run.
You're just wearing one pair of pants?
Just saying.
I'm wearing some little underpants.
Oh yeah, but no,
no, ma'am, I don't think so.
What's your name, man?
Carmelo Anthony, Karmelo.
Okay.
You know, he's got the same name as a famous Syracuse basketball player. He was a very good basketball player that came from Rochester area. Not that far from me. But very different personality, though. I did
Have a seat here real quick, man.
Just briefly.
Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay? Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay? Yes, sir. All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? Yes, sir. All right. So your first name is Carmelo?
Good area.
Let's see, hold on one second. Is he gonna be okay? I don't know yet, man. Carmelo, C-A-R-A.
K-A-R.
K-A-R.
M-E-L-O.
M-E-L-O. Carmelo, what's your last name? A-N-T-H. O-N-Y. Where are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
No, sir.
Where do you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no Centennial. All right, sit tight for me real quick, bud, all right? Let me run this guy real quick. Yeah. I haven't talked to him at all.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to close out with a couple videos right here. A couple AI ones, the good ones.
You said not one word. Not one fucking
8 p.m. tomorrow.
$250,000 little girls turn to me. Groom drug passed around on the street. Pakistani Muslim gangs, they called it the game, while police and councils protected their name. The report dropped June 16 to 26. 219 pages of pure fucking abyss. But your screen stay quiet, your headlines stay clean. Not one word on the horror, the biggest silent scene. Is it not evil enough for your front page spread? Or does it just not fit the story you're fed? Not one word, not one fucking word. You buried the truth like the coward you are. Not one word from the BBC, from the paper so fine. While they raped our daughters and you covered the crime. You serve the power, you serve the elite. Not one word for the man on the street, not one word. Your silence is violence, your silence is treason. The people are waking and we see your reason. Woke in the newsroom, woke in the halls of power, community relations while our girls got devoured. Scared of the racist label, so you all looked away. White working class daughters, the sacrifice of the day. No said it plain, stop calling them Asian. They're not Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. That's the plot. 250k voices screaming from the page. You ignored your narratives, a corpse and the truth is restored. Something's very wrong, the whole system is bent. Media and politicians in the same fucking tent. Woke puppets in charge, total control. 2 minutes away. I'm done with your lies, done with the gaslight and play. Civilization's biggest letdown, the ultimate betrayal. But the report is out now, and your silence will fail. Not one word, not one fucking word. You buried the truth like the coward you are. Not one word from the BBC, from the paper so fine. While they raped our daughters and you covered the crime. You serve the power, you serve the elite. Not one word for the man on the street, not one word. Your silence is violence, your silence is treason. The people are waking and we see your reason.
Yeah.
But millions have read it now. The mask is slipping. You can't hide how. You chose the story over blood and tears. But the reckoning's coming. Not one word. Oh. Copy the new prompt.
$300 miles. So yeah, that's highway wise. That's probably pretty quick to get there. 300 miles. All right, I'm going to play the Starmer one again, which I opened with. This is pretty good too.
So where did all of this begin?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, you were never voted in because of the failures before. The job landed right at your door. But all you've done ever since then is cock it all up time and time again. Now the whole country's on its knees. So Starmer, we're all begging, please. We all think it's time that you know.
Colin, were you watching?
We all really want you to go. We're all sick.
Colin, were you watching the whole time?
Your shit and your lies.
It was pretty much about Starmer, pretty much.
It's you that we all really despise.
Starmer in the race game.
Place no longer safe to live. Thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later.
He says he's been watching the whole time.
Now every day more boats arrive, escaping to here just to survive. Men running scared for their lives. Seems they forgot the kids and wives. No background checks of who they are. Then
John, I have some people from Iran who watch that they can't really comment. They do watch. So
right to a hotel must be
some of them don't have Rumble, so they can't comment either.
5-star benefits, vouchers handed on a plate. Open borders, Britain, no.
They're conservative, the ones that watch. Do you know that 95% of them aren't Durka crazies? There's only 5% that are nutcakes.
No longer great. We all think it's time that you know.
You're speaking in.
We all really want you to go. We're all sick of your shit and your lies. It's you that we all really despise. Britain's a place no longer safe to live. Thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later. Now one more time. If you hate Starmer, then let me hear sing. We all think it's time that you know that we all really want you to go. We're all sick of your shit and your lies. It's you that we all really despise. Britain's a place no longer safe to live. Thanks to you, and we'll never forgive. To run this country takes balls to be brave. But one thing's for sure, Winston Churchill would turn in his grave. So now do us all one big favor. Fuck off, Starmer. See you later.
I hope he's gone soon.
And don't ever come back. Woo! Woo! And don't ever come back.
I hear the guy that's going to take his place is just as bad on immigration and letting illegals in. I don't know. It's pretty bad. From all the statements I've seen he's done in the past and everything. But he's probably likely going to get in. At least it'll be another labor that they can vote out in the next election, I hope. All right. Take care. God bless everyone tomorrow. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye.